So we were on our way to Yellowstone, and we saw a little thing at the side of the road, and Ryan just decided, let's pull over and find out what it is. And it is the Lewis and Clark State Park Caverns.
Kind of out in the middle of nowhere, just off of some tiny road that for some reason my GPS sent us down. So we decided to stop, we ditched the motorhome, and we're winding up into the mountains to go see the cave.
It's kind of exciting.
Yeah. So we'll see what it's all about. We started by taking the half-a-mile trail up to the cave entrance. They take the safety of their bats very seriously. We had to be sure that we were wearing shoes that hadn't been in a cave in at least the last 5 years, and we had to be really quiet approaching the cave entrance so we didn't disturb any of the bats. This is the expanded cave entrance. Originally, when the first people who discovered the cave came in, they came in through a small hole up above this entrance.
We get to go on a slide.
This section is so tight that you have to sit on the ground and slide down some polished limestone through a hole in the rock. This cave's different from a lot of the ones in Montana. It's not just a big room, it's a bunch of rooms connected by small passageways. And even with all of the improvements they've made and all of the new accessibility, there's still a lot of small stairs and tight spaces to squeeze through. This cave has a pretty interesting history. It was operated illegally for decades by a man named Dan Morrison. He made improvements like installing a giant wooden spiral staircase to make accessing the caves easier. And he continued giving unauthorized tours for almost 35 years despite not having any legal claim to the land. In 1935, the Civilian Conservation Corps came in and spent 6 years improving the cave's infrastructure. They installed stairs and concrete floors and made accessing the caves much safer and easier than it had been under Morrison. They also blasted new tunnels to make passage between the rooms easier and safer. Tours through the caves were primarily by candlelight, until 1940 when electric lights were installed. Today they have a very modern LED lighting system and illuminated handrails. Even with all the improvements, it still can be a tight squeeze going through some of the passageways. It makes for a pretty unique experience that you don't see very often. These steps we're going down were carved out of the limestone, and because of the friction of people's shoes, they actually start to marble. The caverns changed hands several times. It was originally owned by the Northern Pacific Railroad that it acquired under a land grant. They transferred it to the National Park Service in 1917 and it became a national monument. But in 1937, the Park Service decided that it didn't have enough national significance to continue being a national monument and handed it over to the state of Montana. The newly formed State Parks Department in Montana took it over, and it became Montana's first state park. One of the largest projects the Civilian Conservation Corps took on was a 538-foot-long exit tunnel lower down in the caverns. It allows you to go one way through the caverns and then exit out lower down, so you don't have to retrace your steps through the narrow passages.
All right, and we are back on the road heading towards Yellowstone. We had a really fun detour going down into some caves. It was unexpected and really fun. What a great little stop. We had a very late lunch. It's like almost 4 o'clock, so it was almost dinner. But that's kind of the way Ryan and I have been the last couple of months. Is a lot of times lunch doesn't happen until 3 or 4, and then dinner's kind of like a bleak affair. Not really. It was like smoothies and popcorn and stuff. Just because we get busy doing stuff and seeing things, and you forget to eat. We have car snacks, Triscuits and beef jerky and dried mango and stuff like that, but that's life, right? We stopped to gas up, and we found ourselves in the middle of a summer rainstorm. There has been lightning, there is thunder, and there is a lot of rain. I am half soaked because we stopped to gas up in Ennis, I think is the town that we are near, and the rain was blowing in underneath the gas station. That thing right there was blowing under. My feet and half of my legs are soaked. Ooh, that was a loud bolt of thunder. This is fun. Adventures. Today so far we've gone down into the belly of a cave and gotten caught in a rainstorm. So far so good for adventures. Oh! Almost out. Whoa, that was crazy. Woo, boy. Oh, man. All good?
Yeah, it seems like it. If water gets into the skin, yeah. Just...
Yeah.
It's definitely wet from the inside.
All right.
Oh, we made it.
We are at a KOA near Yellowstone. It's really beautiful.
Look at these thunderheads out here.
I know, what a glorious day.
So cool.
And it looks like there is a storm building, which I would love. I love me some good rain.
Me too, when we're not driving.
That was some pretty intense rain. I was a little scared for Ryan, but he's a class act driver.
We had really strong winds when that thunderstorm, we were on the outskirts of that thunderstorm, like it was pushing a good hard, and I could feel it leaning. And then we got really big hail, and the speed limit was 70, and I was like, there's no way I'm going 70 when I'm getting marble-sized hail. So I did like 40 until it started splatting more like snow, and then turned back to rain. And I was like, okay, now I can speed up. Could you imagine getting something at 70 miles an hour and that
wouldn't be good.
Wouldn't be good.
So we're now setting everything back up. I usually set up the inside, and Ryan hooks all of the sewer and water and electric up if we happen to be using it, which
we got 3 bars.
We will be. So, oh, and he's also setting up our internet.
I always check to see what kind of signal we get. We get 3 bars. Look at that.
right. And we're pretty much back to being a house. It doesn't take long. It's pretty nice. Ryan will take a little bit longer. All right, so there we go. We made it to Yellowstone. We had some adventures. We're gonna be exploring Yellowstone for the next couple of days, which, hey, it was never really on my bucket list, but I'm excited to be here, and I think it's on my bucket list now. So, woohoo! And now I gotta figure out what we're gonna have for dinner.